Okay, so this time we're looking at the PS4 again, and mainly this little thing, the eject button. Now this is the one I opened before and cleaned it out and changed the thermal compound, but the eject button on it wasn't working. So here I've powered it up. I'm just going to put a disc in and I'll just show you the issue. And apparently this is quite a common issue for these things, so I'm hitting the eject button and nothing's happening at all. Even when I have it sitting down, and that's relevant as well. Sitting down, it's still not working properly. So I've already taken the screws out the back of this one. Again, if you've never opened this before, there'll be some stickers over the screw holes, and you need a security bit to open this. And you can see this is the mechanism here. So what this does is you push on the button on the front, or not push on it, tap on it rather, and it just literally moves that little piece of metal to touch a plate on a PCB, which then ejects your disc. So if I show you here with just the screwdriver, so I've got it open here, and we're just going to start it up. And now if I insert this disc, so what I'm going to do is just use a screwdriver, and it doesn't have to be earthed or anything, it just needs to have a metal, something metal touching it. So if I touch this with the metal screwdriver, you'll see it ejects the disc. Now to me, I don't know why they made the mechanism like this, but what I'm going to do is take this button off for a start off, and you can see it's just that little bit there that pushes it, and then this rubber part is also, weirdly enough, which looks like it should just be a rubber support foot, but that is actually to do with it as well. That kind of basically pushes it back. So I'm just trying it here, just pushing the metal just to see whether anything's moving up or not. And all it is, it's just, you've just literally got to mess around with this thing until you get it where it's actually touching that metal pad. And you can see, again, this metal is just by itself. There's nothing, there's no earth to it, there's no ground or anything. So what I've done now, I've kind of put it all back together again, but I've left the button out, and I've left the rubber foot out. And I'm just seeing if I can activate it now with my screwdriver. I've basically manipulated that metal into such a position where hopefully it should work. So if I put a disc in, and then hopefully if I just put it in here, I'm just basically hitting that metal plate to see if that's now going to hit that PCB, and it seems to be working. So I'm getting the right noise for it. So I'll insert it again, and this time I'm going to try it with just the button but without the rubber foot, just to see if that, make sure nothing's broken off of that button, basically, that it is reaching where it needs to reach to. And it does seem to be working okay. So again, without that rubber foot, this isn't going to stay in place anyway, so we need to put that rubber foot back in. But again, I'm just making sure that it is making a good enough contact. So now if I put this rubber foot back in, you can see the way around it goes. So the idea is the front of it basically just kind of pushes it back. And we're talking, I wouldn't even say a millimeter of, we're talking like, probably like, hundredth of a thou kind of movement. Like, it is very minimal, the movement on it. And to me, I can see why they changed it on later models of the PS4, because there is a lot that can kind of go wrong with this. If someone takes it apart and doesn't put it back together again properly, that eject button is not going to work. So again, you've got to do something like this, where you basically got to manipulate the metal, make sure that's where it should be again. Now with that rubber in place, it should allow this to kind of clip over again. I can clip this button over again, and it should just clip into place. It hasn't quite yet. There you go, that's got it now. So again, once it's in place, I just need to touch it basically. I don't need to push it hard or anything like that. It should be just a case of stroking your finger over the front of it. But again, you've normally got to hold it there for about half a second. If you just do it too quick, it won't work. It won't eject at all. But that seems to be working fine now. Just try it again, just to make sure. That all seems to be good. So now I've got it round the right way again. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like it's triggering even though no one's pressing the button. And just to prove that, I'll put this disc in. Sure enough, it rejects the disc. So no one's pressing the button, but it's just... And it's not constantly firing, it's really erratic the way it's doing it as well, which is quite odd. So my first thought here was to just move it so that rubber isn't being touched at all by the bottom. And just see if it works that way. And that seems to work fine now. I'm not getting any of these mysterious ejections. Now putting it back onto the surface again seems to be fine. So I don't know whether it was just the rubber wasn't quite in place properly and it just wasn't settled properly, but now it seems to be settled fine. I'm just going to try out a game in it just to make sure it's not going to eject mid-game or anything like that. And obviously we've got to go for, I would say the classic Doom, but obviously this is a reworked version of Doom. But that all seems to be working fine now. So again, it is a little bit fiddly, but just a little bit of perseverance and you can get it to work. So I'll just eject. And with that, I will see you on the next one.